Thank you so much for joining me today. I would like to take this opportunity to let you know that this webinar is pre-recorded. For those of you that don't know, we here in Ontario have been under a bit of a snowmageddon in the last few days. What this weather pattern has done is forced me to be a little more, quote unquote, creative with how I present webinars. So what does this mean? Unfortunately, this means that I will not be answering questions during this webinar. But that doesn't mean that you cannot reach out to me. Since this webinar is about your presence in social media, I'm going to give you my contact information so that you can reach out to me on a number of different platforms. So for example, you can find me on Facebook. I host a page called Tamitha Denye's The Accounting Professional. Come and join us by liking the page, and please ask all the questions you would like. You can also reach out via email. My email address is admin@tdaccountingservices.ca. I would love for you to send any questions that you have so that I can address them and get you answers as quickly as possible if I can answer your questions. Social media is such a vast topic, and I wouldn't be surprised if you did have questions on how to navigate and increase your social presence. So let's get started. As mentioned before, today's webinar is about tested and tried tools to boost your social media presence. But before we actually deep dive into this webinar, I need to get through some housekeeping first. This is the agenda that we are going to try to follow today. And as you can see, I've broken it down to make it a little easier. I want to talk about the social media toolkit. I want to talk about some how-tos, and then I'm going to summarize everything at the end. Some of the housekeeping that we normally take care of if this was a regular webinar is that we would mute participants and we would unmute them at the end. We still plan on sending you this recording, but the one thing I want you to take away from this is that you need to enjoy. This is an informational and educational webinar. It's not about taking notes. Just sit back, relax, have a coffee, and see if there's something that you can pick up that you can start using right away, what I call a takeaway, if you will. And now for the part that I don't like. I'm just talking about myself. My name is Tamitha Denye's, and I am the owner of TD Accounting Services. We're physically located in Sterling, Ontario, but we service customers across Canada. I am a certified professional bookkeeper with the Institute of Professional Bookkeepers of Canada, and I'm also part of the Trainer Writer Network. And what does that mean? That means I tend to spend time educating and speaking to colleagues about this disruptive industry that we're now going through when it comes to the accounting. I'm also a mentor with Futurepreneur, and I'm a founding member of the Startup Canada branch for Quinte West. I'm pretty proud of that. I've earned a number of awards over the last few years when it comes to participating in my own demographic, two of which that I'm really proud of is being one of the top 100 pro advisors and the top 50 cloud accountants for both 2018 and 2019. I've been considered a financial coaching strategist, which is something I enjoy, and this is helping colleagues and other businesses really adopt and adapt to using technology to really boost their presence and help them maneuver and really open up to this technology. I'm also a golfer, and I enjoy golfing. I have 2 holes in one, and probably the worst score on the field. I am a speaker and I'm a badass, forward-thinking bookkeeper, or so this is what my customers say about me. So now, you know all about me. Let's get into this webinar. Are you wondering how to make your social media rock? Well, it's not difficult to do. With the tools available to you today, you can design, you can create content, You can provide personal touches, you can track and analyze your posts, and you can schedule them easily. You can do this successfully, and you can find your next customers on the web, just like Nike, just like McDonald's, without spending a massive amount of money doing it. What tools are available to you? Well, you have tools that will help you create graphics, help you create content, watch what your customers are caring about, track and analyze, and manage all of this in one location. Whether you are new to social media or you're a veteran, there's always something out there that's new, that's up and coming, that you can utilize and use to boost your presence. This whole webinar is based on this toolkit. So mind-blowing graphics, engaging content, personalizing both of those, tracking and analyzing and managing the whole shebang. So here's the thing. You can have the best graphics, but if you don't have engaging content, your social presence, your reach, if you will, is not going to be as good as someone who has nice graphics and nice content. If they've got both of those and both of them are equally as good, and you are slipping up and not really putting your best foot forward. So for example, great graphics and no content, their reach is going to be further than yours. So it's sitting down and creating these graphics. They don't have to be pie in the sky graphics, but creating really great graphics and engaging content that is personalized to your demographic. That's really going to put you a step ahead of anybody. And I'm living proof. And I have taught others to do the same. It's super simple once you have the tools. But that's not all. So having these three parts and having them completely under control is fantastic. But if you're spending all of your time in Twitter and getting no leads, then that's wasted time and wasted money. If you're spending all of that time creating these amazing graphics, amazing content, and you're posting it on Instagram and you're hearing crickets, you're not making money. So this is where tracking and analyzing comes in. Watching what happens and seeing where your leads are coming from if you're going to invest in doing this type of social media, this is where it's going to be beneficial. Here's another example. Lists, email marketing lists. Yes, it's not dead. Trust me, it's still out there and it still works. Tracking and analyzing the number of click-throughs, open rates, what time people will open, that's where analyzing comes in. And now you're really starting to see what's working and what isn't. But let's talk about managing it, because even though it's on the very end, it's just as important. Managing all of your social media, email, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, doesn't matter what you choose, LinkedIn. If you're not managing it, you are going to spend a significant amount of time sitting there, scrolling, posting, managing, and I don't know about you, but I don't have that kind of time. So this is where these tools come in handy. It's almost like we're going to call it a set it and forget it, except we're not going to forget it. But we can set it and walk away, and we can concentrate on what's important, and that's making money. So let's start with how to create killer graphics. So social media has grown by leaps and bounds over the last decade, and the relentless pace shows no signs of slowing down. As a matter of fact, there has been a number of studies that have shown that marketing is changing because of social media. And if you want to reach out to your up-and-coming buyers, you need to look at what you've been doing and possibly adjusting to reach your buyers. With the proliferation of social media in all of our lives and the sheer amount of content that is generated daily, it is much more important to create visuals that help you stand out and pop on your chosen platform. Graphics are absolutely important. This is your first stepping stone in your toolbox. But you don't have to be a graphic designer to create amazing graphics. There is a plethora of tools out there for you. You can use a number of different tools that you can download to your phone, to your iPad, or even to your computer. And they're easy to use and in some cases free. There's so many available resources to help you design these tools. You can go to websites like Pixabay, Unsplash to get graphics, and you can change those, add words to them. You can modify them in ways that are going to make them stand out and be specific to the demographic that you're actually targeting. And guess what? You might have to go back to school too, because here's the thing. There's so many tools out there, and the vast knowledge to use them. I mean, I can sit for hours looking at different tools on my phone or on my iPad. I would rather take the time and have a specialist, someone who's an influencer or a coach or a teacher who understands these tools and can narrow down what it is I need to know to get me out there, getting those graphics to my people so that I'm going to be the influencer in my community, which is what I'm trying to do here. So let's summarize this. The rise of social media has been matched by the rise in foolproof design platforms. Well, that's a question, or that's a statement, isn't it? You don't have to be a graphic designer. You just have to know where the tools are. And there are a number of them. Go into your phone. I swear to goodness, I have an iPhone myself, and if I go into the App Store, I can guarantee you that I am going to find at least 6 that are going to be more than sufficient to do what I need them to do, and I can do it directly from my phone. The other lesson, there's tools. Canva, PicMonkey, Easel. These tools are fantastic. They can be free or you can invest in them. And if you do decide to invest in them and you have a team, you can share designs. This makes it so much easier to spread the work out. Another lesson here is that, you thought you were done going to school. Well, the school of life can bite you in the backside. I'm telling you right now. I spend a significant amount of time researching and learning how these tools can better extend my reach, because ultimately that's what it's about. I want to extend my social presence because that's what's going to make me stand out from the crowd, and that's what's bringing the leads in to my office by using social media. Another story here. We have stopped using all forms of marketing outside of social media. And why is that? Because we're finding that the ROI far exceeds anything else that we have ever done for bringing in leads. We are right now looking at anywhere from 4 to 6 leads a week. And these are bookkeeping customers, these are tax customers, these are people that are reaching out looking for coaching and understanding how to run their business in the digital space. So how are we finding these people? It's all on social media and it's working. So don't be surprised. This is where going to school still helps. Now let's look at content, the second part of the toolkit. Content is, well, yeah, the old adages are true, but they are contradictory. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but the pen is mightier than the sword. So where does content fall in the social media spectrum of importance? at the top, right beside graphics. You could have a beautiful feed full of beautiful graphics and photos, but if you have nothing to say, your followers will be few and far between. The simple truth is this: you have to be social on social media, and content plays a vital role in this. Content helps to engage your customers, builds their trust, and positions you as an expert, an influencer in your field. It also helps get your brand noticed with SEO and increases your market share. The more engaging the content, the more people are going to interact. The more they interact, the more social media sees that you are the content that someone else wants to see. And this is where SEO comes in, and it helps increase your market share. Increased engagement, and you will increase your social presence. Increase your social presence, and now you're increasing your reach. Once your reach is increased, now the leads start coming in. So use resources to help and build, deepen that engagement. And what are those resources? Those resources could be as simple as Facebook groups, following influencers to see what they're talking about, and whatever that topic happens to be, write about it, write content on it, slap a really amazing graphic on it, and post it. Make it personal, make it your own. Stay current. You wouldn't believe how easy it is to stay current without spending your day in social media. Now, do as the teacher says, not as the teacher does, because you will see, if you follow me, that I am on Facebook all day. Well, it looks like I'm on Facebook all day, but I'm not. It's just open in the background. But I do that because if something catches my attention as a topic of interest, then I can spend time learning about it and then writing about it, or creating a quick, interesting graphic with content and posting it and getting the attention of other readers. It is a great way to stay current. Other ways to stay current is use other tools. Feedly is a fantastic tool to stay current. And one of my favorites, and I've said this in the past, is Reddit. I know it seems really weird, but Reddit is a great way to stay current and you're not spending your entire day scrolling. 20 minutes, and I guarantee you, you're going to have 5 topics to talk about for tomorrow. Write like Hemingway. Did you know there's actually a program called Hemingway? And you can use it to make your content more engaging. So let's summarize, okay? Using resources doesn't have to be limiting. You can use a number of tools to boost your presence that have absolutely nothing to do with Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I want you to deep dive with me into this scenario. You are about to send an email to a prospective client and you want to personalize it. So you Google and you LinkedIn, but you get sidetracked and you find yourself and your productivity going down that internet wormhole. Been there, done that. While it is an essential part of prospecting and it is a necessary way to strengthen your connections, it is not efficient and is certainly not sustainable. Enter a program called Reportative. This is an integration that works between your Gmail contacts and their LinkedIn profiles. Simply download this extension and you can see the full details of their LinkedIn profiles directly into your Gmail. Use it to add a lead, check their latest activity before you send your next email, and this will help facilitate that all-important personal connection. Social Bakers is a great engagement tool. It provides audience analytics, general artificial intelligence of your target audience. It allows you to send targeted marketing and content through list segment organization. Big believer here of lists for email. Use MailChimp, Constant Contact, ActiveCampaign, anything like that. Ensure that you use the field functions to personalize the headers and the bodies of your emails. This creates that instant connection that people are looking for. You can populate their names, their addresses, and a plethora of other options. It's not all, well, let me rephrase. Social media should include your email lists, and reaching out to your contacts the same way, because you would be surprised at how much business still occurs in an email marketing list. Now, let's talk about staying current without scrolling all bloody day, okay? You don't have to scroll all day. There are dozens of platforms such as Nuzzle and Feedly. It gives you a one-stop shop for the latest news and the current hottest topics. You can customize your accounts to only grab the information that is going to be specific to the demographic that you are niching in. So again, let's look at a different story, if you will. If I'm a doctor and I'm trying to get a homeopathic doctor, and I'm trying to get new customers to come and check out my shop, I'm going to want information that's going to attract those type of customers. I can go into Feedly and I can set it up so that I'm only getting information on natural remedies. And I'm going to post about that on social media. What is that going to do for me? That's going to show that I'm an expert on these topics, especially if I know what I'm talking about. And this is where people start paying attention. They like those topics. They like those posts. They like or they heart those posts. Their friends now start seeing it. And once their friends start seeing it, because of the social aspect of this, they start liking them also. Now your reach magnifies, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and this is why the leads start to pour in. Believe it or not, staying current is a big part of that. Next lesson, write with impact. I cannot stress this enough, to be honest with you. Most of us can't afford copywriting services. It's just beyond our budgets. Now, some of us can, and I respect that, but the average business owner can't afford it. There is a number of platforms out there that you can invest in that are, I'm going to say, as low as free, but very inexpensive. Platforms like Grammarly is a great example. Hemingway is another, and I mean, I love this. It's an incredible app that can be downloaded to your computer, makes writing a snap, color-coded suggestions covering everything from sentence length, passive voice, readability. These are all amazing topics. So here's another tidbit for you. The average reader, believe it or not, regardless of educational level, reads between a grade 5 to a grade 8. You want to write for that reader because that is the average reader that's going to be reading your stuff. Another great tool, Headline Analyzer. Simply type in your desired headline and it will provide feedback on readability, grammar, and structure. Now, these are virtual editing tools that can make the difference for you. So now we're on to our third concept, and that's how to track and analyze. So you've created these great visuals, you've polished up your writing and your publishing content, But how do you know whether it's working or not? Tracking and analytic tools are instrumental in helping you determine where best to spend your marketing time and your marketing dollars. So by using the data provided, you can see what posts are getting the most engagement, the most views, the number of shares and/or follows, and it allows you to concentrate on those particular types of marketing to help you boost your social media presence and your impact. So here are the 3 things I want you to take away. You need to identify what your best content is. You also need to embrace analytics as a measuring tool. There's no question about it. You can have great graphics, great content, you've personalized it, but if you're not embracing analytics, you're missing that big step because you could be possibly wasting time and money. And you can get help from online communities and forums. So let's look at this in greater detail, okay? Google is the main player in this area. There are several great alternatives, but Google is the main player. With a simple setup, Google can start tracking your sites, provide data on everything you do with engagement, which includes numbers, followers, click-throughs, likes, shares, a number of different things that would be considered essential data about your prospective and current customers, your fans, and your subscribers. But guess what? And this is the best part. It's free. Absolutely zero cost. Follower Wonk is another great platform for engagement data. Though it is limited to Twitter, it is something that you can use. It allows you to analyze data, for example, where they live, who they follow, what their bios are. It allows you to gather data on your competition, their social media engagement, and their presence for comparison. There is a free version that is available with very limited functionality, but plans do start at $9 and go up from there. Another one to choose or that you could look at is Social Bakers. And yep, it's a multi-use platform. For analytics, you can use it to measure your social media presence against your competitors, industry as a whole, or location-specific benchmarks. And you can then use that data to elevate your standings. There's no free version, and the standard package does start at $20 US per month, so keep that in mind. For the Insta fans out there, there's something called Iconosquare. This is something that brands rely on for Instagram marketing. Now, I'm personally not an Instagrammer. I kind of play in that space a little bit, and I'm learning more and more about it every day. But generally speaking, I have been informed that this is a great tool for tracking posts and the increasingly important story feature, which is really becoming a big thing. That I do know. There is a 14-day trial available, but after that, it's $29 US per month. Embracing data with analytic tools. This is becoming huge. This is where your Google is coming in. This is where you need to spend time focusing on this information. You absolutely need to invest in something. If you have nowhere else to start with Google. At least for free, you are going to find click-throughs. You're going to find who likes you. And that pixel is amazing. Just figured that out last week myself. I'm learning this as I go, but I'm telling you, the information that I'm learning from it, and I'm investing 2 hours a week, far exceeds the time that I'm spending. Last summary here is get by with help, okay? There is a massive upswing in groups on Facebook. There is a number of tools that you can use to gain feedback on visuals and content and to gather followers to build your network. If you want help, go to a Facebook group. Okay, I'm serious. There are so many groups out there who focus solely on social media, allowing members to post content and visuals for reviews and for suggestions. It is almost remarkable the number of groups out there that are focused on helping their colleagues better their social media platform exposure. Outside of this, outside of a dedicated Facebook social media group, there are other special interest groups that you could look at. You can look at Instaloops. These are scheduled events where a group agrees to engage and follow each other over a defined period. Now, do I personally believe in that? I don't, because this is artificially increasing your reach and it's not connecting you with the customer that you really want to connect with. There is another way of getting help, and that is using a by follower situation. You know, it's an option where you spend some money and somebody finds you some followers. My problem with that is they tend to find followers in a different country. So if I'm selling tax preparation in Canada, I'm not sure how someone from China is going to help me out, to be brutally honest. Or if I'm selling on the World Wide Web, hair straighteners. Again, not seeing how having followers from North Korea is going to help me, or how their friends are going to help me sell hair straighteners. Some of these methods to me are questionable. And this is why I tend to focus on the different helping hands that I have found to be beneficial. And the biggest benefits that I have found so far, the biggest helpers, are Facebook groups. You can find a group that is going to give you information, critique the different posts that you have, and then you can share it with your readers, your demographics, and your followers. And you would be surprised at just how much that little helping hand will increase your reach. I'm going to get on to the last one here, which is how to manage. Okay, of the 5, this is the last one I want to talk about today. Managing it all. Well, beat creativity blocks with content calendars. Content calendars. There's so many different ways you can have a content calendar. If you don't have time, use Excel. Excel is simple. Create a very simple Excel spreadsheet. This is the graphic that I used. This is the content, the words that I used. This is the day that I posted it. And 3 weeks from now, I'm going to repost it again. And I'm going to put it in the calendar. And I'm going to change up the wording. Creating content calendars saves you brain dumps. I use them all the time, and I use it for different platforms. Work with a social media scheduler. Now, some people believe that you can use things like SmarterQ. You can use things like Buffer, and there's one for Instagram. There's a number of different programs you can invest in. But something that I have learned very recently, and I have tested this theory, is that if you use the platform that is provided, so for example, Facebook has a scheduler, your reach is exponentially increased by using it. By using something that's an outside source that comes into Facebook, Facebook doesn't like that. Don't know why. It's probably because they've already created a scheduler for you. But if you go and you use SmarterQ, Buffer, and other scheduling apps that are not in Facebook, it doesn't give you the same kind of reach. Now, I'm not saying don't use them. I'm just saying bear that in mind. So over the course of the last 10 days, I've been testing this theory, and I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, based on the analytics, that this is true. I have taken my small little group that had at the time 69 likes, and I only used this Facebook scheduler to schedule a post. I was scheduling 3 per day. Then I had my Facebook group that had over 1,000 people in it, and I was scheduling 3 times a day using an outside source. The reach and the engagement in that smaller group far exceeded the bigger one. So, that being said, now it's time to really expand on this concept, and I'm going to use the Facebook scheduler in the bigger group and see what happens. I think you're going to find that the reach is going to really increase. Integrate and automate for maximum impact. So I just spoke about Facebook and the scheduler, but that doesn't mean that Instagram or Twitter, that you can't integrate and automate your posts and using schedulers for those. I actually recommend it. Your time is priceless, and you need to utilize it as carefully as possible. You only have so much time in a day. You have 24 hours, and 8 of them you have to sleep. So here's where spreading your time very carefully and utilizing these tools is going to make a huge difference. So let's look at the summaries. Win the battle against writer's block. Content calendars are key. I personally never believed in them until the last year. And when I realized just how easy it was to actually implement them and keep them up, I found that my writing got better, my time was better spent, and I was able to provide a bigger audience more information, and I was getting a lot more engagement because of it. Social media schedulers are like a new pocket watch. These schedulers are going to make your life easier. I sat down in 2 hours and I scheduled an entire month of posts in Facebook. 2 hours, entire month. So now all I have to do is let Facebook inform me that my post has been posted, and then I start the engagement on it. It really does help. Last lesson, automate and integrate. I cannot tell you how much time this saves. This really does manage my posts for me, which helps me manage my reach. And I always end a webinar with a quote. Social media networks are one of the fastest growing industries in the world. It is changing how we market today. It is huge what this is going to do for every industry if we start corralling it now. By you taking the time and just taking one concept and applying it to your business and seeing how that's going to affect how your marketing dollars are spent is going to be key. I started doing this 2 years ago, and at first I heard crickets. I heard nothing. I thought, oh my God, I am choosing the wrong toy to play with. Well, here we are 2 years later, and my marketing dollars are completely spent on social media. And I'm not kidding you, it is an investment well worth every dollar that I have spent to date. So here we are. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'm really, really sorry that I had to pre-record this. This is one of my favorite topics, and I love nothing more than talking about social media increasing your reach, and finding ways to do so. It is such a powerful topic, and I look forward to sharing more information with you on this topic. I am going to sum up here. Remember, design mind-blowing graphics. Create your content. Connect with your customers by personalizing both your graphics and your content. Track and analyze. So key. It is so key. And then manage it all. Normally, this is where I would say, do you have any questions? It's pre-recorded, so obviously you don't. So what I'm going to do is say, please reach out. This is my website, and this is my email address. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on LinkedIn. And remember, I look forward to hearing from you, and I would love to get your questions. So please reach out. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for joining me, and we will see you the next time. Bye for now.